Tree. This time around, Tree and Puck. Good call by my analysts.
Okay, so not the one we expected, though. I have to say, I'm surprised. I would have thought Tree would be the one you let through over the IO. Maybe the thought that Tree is a simpler hero, doesn't revolve around having a strategy dedicated to the IO. So maybe if they haven't been playing it all too much and you're not very practiced on it, it might make more sense to go for a Tree in that situation. So kind of understandable then.
And Evil Genius is not opting to pick up the Wisp that was offered to them. That was their right as first pick to be able to grab that one. Instead, they go to the Crystal Maiden, which was actually what they were doing in game number 1, right? Banning Nyx and Sand King, those Kaka, versatile 3-4 heroes, and then also taking the Crystal Maiden away from Newbee.
It could just be that EG feels like Newbee is not a strong IO team, so they are likely to not pick it up for themselves. And they could grab it a little bit later. And you see Newbee, even though they have the option to pick up the IO, they don't. But likely will be banned out on the second phase, I believe.
Yeah, and I think this Disruptor is a fantastic pick. I thought it was one of the best played heroes they've had on Newbie's side so far throughout this series, and it also counters out a lot of those heroes. Like, yes, the Puck is gone, but the IO is still left in, so it's the IO +1. It's a great counter to that. And then the Ember Spirit, too, coming out from Sumail. Possibly, of course, the flexibility. We've seen it through this tournament. I don't want to completely discount it, but more than likely it will be Sumail in the mid lane, especially after such a performance like that. You've just got yourselves another counter, and we have this whole idea of how do you handle the clockwork during the draft? Where do you expect him to go? How can you prep your lanes for either this Kaka hero running through and just trying to disrupt as much as possible early on, or that kind of mid-game pacing from KP? Not too shocking to see the Ball of Light now taken out here.
Disruptor and Clockwork both being picked up, but we seem to see this Ember Spirit constantly grabbed despite Disruptor being on the enemy team. Is Disruptor really not that good of a counter to Ember Spirit? Is it not really that good at control?
I think at this level, especially for Sumail, you expect to be able to remnant dodge the glimpse into old combo. And again, if they expect some move to be made on Sumail in the draft, this is a hero that is a little bit flexible. There's still a laning possibility where they can give it to someone else. They can give it to RTZ or run it in the safe lane. Also, you have the Crystal Maiden again, which, as a high-value first pick, takes it away from Newbee and just empowers all of your lanes that much more. So I think picking that early is a good choice for them as well. Newbee going with the Clockwork, one of the rising heroes of the last patch and of this tournament as well. Again, being able to fill different roles, enabling multiple combos. So we'll have to see what direction they go here.
Yeah, I mean, Disruptor, like you said, you could, slight dodge the glimpse, but in a likely scenario where there's a big team fight going on, there's probably a lead stun that goes on the Ember, and then you just drop the Static Storm on top. So I think at the end of the day, Newbee is still very happy that they have the Disruptor into the Ember. At the same side, I don't think EG is like, oh my god, they have Disruptor, we can't pick Ember at all. I feel like on both sides, they're relatively happy with the heroes that they got.
Yep, I think the Clockwork was also probably a little bit of a deny pick too. Certainly could have been an option there with the CM. That's been one of his most successful allies when you're running it in that support role. So it makes it a lot easier to open up those lanes. But Disruptor, yeah, he's just one step of the solution to the Ember Spirit. It'll be just like that Puck. You can do a lot of the same similar things to dodge or to glimpse with that hero. But still, Renowned is one of the better options as a support up against it. And we will receive a ban on the Enchantress, so Evil Geniuses won't have to worry about the possible problems that were in that mid-game.
And they're not going to ban away the Drow Ranger. Is there any danger of Evil Geniuses turning this into a fast push strategy?
I think with the Ember Core reveal, the chance of that is actually relatively low, right? And
you'd need a Prophet or something like an NP to make it work.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna see a draw here.
But in terms of KP heroes, we will again lose ourselves the Enigma, and we harken back to Tide Hunter. Up against the Ember Spirit, very risky, of course. Got to make sure you're going to hit that Ravage. Certainly do not want to miss, and I'm sure they're also going to want a little bit more information. Maybe we'll get ourselves a position 1. Okay, so that's going to be still a little bit of that flexibility. We've seen plenty of the matchups of the Ursa versus the Ember Spirit in the mid, and this will leave that option open for them as the draft progresses.
So this is kind of like, hey, we're denying you the Sumail mid Ember. You can put it there. You're going to have a huge lane disadvantage. And of course, Newbee is a great Ursa lineup already. They picked that against Phoenix earlier today, but they love the hero. They'll pick it without Phoenix in the game.
I think he's also been very successful against Ember Spirit in a lot of drafts too. Any of these very elusive heroes, right? It only takes that one stun, the multi-step solution. One person just holds him in place, you try and burst him down as fast as possible. Flame Guard not going to assist you here. Evil Geniuses need to try and figure out, okay, so what do we do here? Like, where's our pacing? What are we going to find? Do we need to think about some other options in terms of the laning phase? Because they're not going to have that last pick. They're not going to have the final option to see where Newbee's going to send this bear.
I wonder if we'll see a Tusk here. It's a hero that we've seen some teams favor a lot.
I like the
others
Tusk here.
also.
Yeah.
But it feels like some kind of save for all of the single target that you have coming out from Newbee could be useful for them, especially if that Ember Spirit does feel a bit vulnerable early on.
Yeah, the Frozen Sigil in particular is not very effective against Ursa, but still it's just scouting for the Roshan and whatnot. But instead it's going to be a Kunkka. So my worry for EG right now is you have two backliners that have no defense for themselves when Ursa jumps on you. Unless Kunkka hits a Torn on himself, which is, you might just be dead before your cast animation even finish once the Ursa jumps in. So EG is having a lot of confidence that the positioning is going to be good, and they're going to have some really strong frontliners that Ursa needs to like bypass before he could jump to the backline.
Now we have to try and figure out exactly what it'll be for Universe as well for Evil Geniuses. We saw plenty of the Darkseer plus the Kunkka, so that little combination of the boat, the vacuum. We'd have the Iron Shell combo on top of the Ember Spirit. Been pretty popular before, but he does suffer up against the Disruptor in lane sometimes, can control you post-surge. Can help build into 4 staffs though for the Clockwork Cogs, but indeed we shall get our Tidehunter. So we've already discussed kind of the issues that could be there up against the Ember Spirit, but with the heavy team fight coming in from the Kunkka with that rum buff, now if you can set up with the Tidehunter, it's much like the song from the Naga Siren, big AoE kind of control and try and layer on top with the Static Storm. So if they can get that right synergy between our Tidehunter and our Disruptor, you can just win team fight after team fight.
I think AG will once again stick with the 3 self-sufficient core type of draft that they've had, especially since if this is a double roam from the Crystal Maiden and Kunkka, all of the newbie heroes right now are a bit level dependent to reach like optimal effectiveness, and that could be an issue for them if these two are going around just winning lanes one by one.
So what would you say a strong self-sufficient safe laner would be that could go up against the Tidehunter? Because we saw the effectiveness of previously the Drow Ranger being able to kind of keep the Tidehunter at bay, not able to get any sort of laning phase farm. You want a similar kind of strategy here, right?
I feel like Weaver is a very strong pick here. You get the good lane against the Tidehunter. It's tough against Disruptor, because obviously glimpses to Static Storm is always a thing, but I mean, he already has to deal with the Ember, and it's one of RTC's best heroes.
Yep.
Do you think they would dare just raise her again? I mean, he is someone who can kind of feed off of the... oh, finally! He's here! Okay,
Bristleback.
so we'll get a different kind of a tanky hero. We've been talking Bristleback, ignored completely throughout the series, despite being a major talking point for what felt like the past 2 best-of-3s before it.
Every time we talk about Bristleback, we always mention Ursa's the hero that could beat him, right? Ursa's here.
If you have the control that holds you in place for a direction, though, which is something that Static Storm doesn't do, despite being quite a bit of that, control element, your silence and
You can
everything,
still turn.
You can still turn quite a bit, so they do kind of still need something, it feels like, from Newbee.
Normally we would look to the Legion Commander with Tidehunter already being picked up. So
Could be a Shadow, like a Shadow Blade mid, someone to go for the Silver Edge, perhaps.
are we going to have Bristleback in our off lane or our safe lane?
That's a good question.
This seems a little bit more unlikely with the picks right now, but Void is also a possibility that some teams have used against Bristleback. Obviously, with the time dilation, more lockdown, it doesn't synergize necessarily that well with their lineup, though. So I'm not sure if a Newbie would go in that direction.
Yeah, 3 other melee heroes. That seems like one hell of a feat.
Kind of like a Lina, perhaps, from Newbie, if they wanted to just shift that Ursa. It is one of those Silver Edge carriers. Could give them quite a bit of right-click, even some additional stuns just to follow up a very balanced hero. Could even think about perhaps an Invoker, too, although we haven't been blessed with one yet today.
There's still a Shadow Fiend, a Silver Edge carrier. The Bad Band suggests that
Clockwork.
they want to run the Ursa in the safe lane, so
Yeah.
they still have that mid with the synergy with the Clockwork as well.
Pondering their way here on this last band for Evil Geniuses. What don't they want to see? What lanes don't they want? I wonder how willing they are to send that Ursa into the mid lane as well. And, well, maybe likewise, Evil Geniuses could still even pick up a separate mid hero themselves.
They've got every single role open, potentially, right?
Yeah.
They could do safe lane Ember, mid Bristleback, off lane Bristleback. Like every single position could be open if they really wanted to change the lanes. So they ban away the Storm Spirit, a frequent pickup versus the Bristleback, and would do a fine matchup versus Ember as well. And they go for the Darkseer.
Okay.
That
So-
combination with the Kunkka, nice. Strong frontline hero with some sustain.
Probably the best universe hero that's left, I would say, in this situation. If we were going to go that way, again, the Ion Shell, the Vacuum, very balanced strategy from Evil Geniuses. This is the kind of stuff we kind of look at for those like game 3 scenarios near the end. You'd almost think it was best of 5, something like that. But feel pretty good about what the Evil Geniuses have brought out.
OD.
Okay, so they're going to mix it up and go for the lane win.
That's the thing here, though, with the Bristleback. We've seen this hero run in all 3 lanes throughout this tournament, and the Turks here as well. So they didn't necessarily commit themselves to a lane with those picks either. And I like that from EG as a general theme in a drafting strength throughout this tournament.
I think the OD was kind of cool too, because we were talking about how the Ursa, if he was up against the Ember Spirit, he was going to be able to just probably have the safe win. But then we were thinking about these other heroes that could have helped their draft in some other ways, be it through the control. The Invoker comes to mind against the Bristleback because although he doesn't build a Silver Edge or anything, he does get that mana drain. And that's one way, like lots of this team fight control. But instead, the OD, we can also work our way through there too. This is a Bristleback who's just in the middle of the fight. You're just kind of always stealing this in from him. You're being able to drain all of his mana and try and make him as useless as possible. So.
Sounds like you're leaning with Newbee.
I'm going to go with Bristleback because that hero kept winning games, and I'm surprised it took this long for him to show up, so I'm actually going to go with EG.
Jack?
I like EG as well. I think their dual roam is going to do a lot of work this game. I'm not sure if Newbee will be able to match those rotations. I like EG as well.
I like Newbee's draft, but
I
like
knew it.
Cap brought up, I don't know it's about the Dota. It's just whether you're cracked or not. But I believe in them. Tiwa Lang. Go Newbee.
All right. Lumi back in Newbee. Hardcore here. The rest of my panel says Evil Geniuses. Game number 4, EG Newbee underway. Toby, Juan, and Merlin.
Something tells me when Lumi acts like that, this crowd is going to lynch him pretty soon. Either way, we got ourselves a game 4, rapidly approaching. Fun times around. We get to see the return of the Tidehunter.
Sad times too. This could be our last game.
It could be, but maybe not. We all don't want to go to work. We all want to stay here and just watch Dota 2 until the wee hours of the morning.
Early smoke coming out already from Newbee.
Well, it already got broken. Ping came out, so Kaku understands that Universe and Samael are here, so no early observer warding as, well, volume is a wonderful thing. Let's just crack a window for it.
I am surprised that Bristleback has taken this long to show up in this particular series. Don't have any good Silver Edge carriers on Newbee's side to potentially deal with him later on. I think Ursa's actually pretty good at dealing with it. You can tank through, bursting him down with the Enrage, and you also just have massive amounts of damage that paltry Bristleback won't be able to mitigate.
It's also one of those fights too where EG, like we've seen the Bristleback time and time again, just tank through and just extend these fights out so long. That seems to play more into the hands of OD. With every attack, just continue to steal more and more intelligence and build up more and more and more.
However, they are probably going to have to build BKBs though. The teamfight combination with a boat into the vacuum is potentially devastating, and there's even easier setup for them too. Like Bristleback's good at making heroes clump up and fight around him, and Ember Spirit is very good at also isolating heroes and potentially setting them up for big combos.
Maybe this is also a game where the Crystal Maiden is able to have an effect that isn't just death.
Please, Arcane Aura, Toby. That's always
Delivers
useful.
death. She becomes the angel of death as opposed to the angel of, well, her own demise.
She's a snow angel.
Snow angel? That's the old taunt. We use new taunts these times. All right, well, I guess we have fun little matchup. So again, OD going up against the Ember in the mid. And it's Arteezy who's going to try and zone out KP on the top lane. A little bit more difficult for him to do that this time around, just because you will have a very tanky Tidehunter. KP's come prepared with a lot of tangos. The only thing he's going to be concerned about is the extra stacks on the Quill.
He does not have a magic stick and also does not have access to the side shop, however, so that's not good at all for KP.
Wondering how Mookie actually handles the bottom lane. Ursa versus a Darkseer. It seems like a lot of unwilling damage you have to take to the Iron Shells that continue to push out the lane.
Yeah, that's not a good matchup for Ursa. He does very poorly against heroes that can shove in the lane. You don't want to be hitting creeps with Ursa. You want to be hitting heroes.
Is it worth actually changing your item build up a little bit? Like we've seen Moogie go for the Vladimirs, so maybe it's worthwhile like, getting a little bit of lifesteal earlier on, just to give you that sustain in the lane. Let him focus, kill off the Iron Shell creep, and not worry about having to drag the creep wave underneath the tower every time.
I think that's a big commitment because you could alternatively just pick up a Ring of Regen for a Vlad's later, and it should suffice. And Darkseer already heading over to the jungle universe, not about this lane. Disruptor, one of the better heroes I would say at killing a Darkseer, but he is still level 1 on a Darkseer.
And SC's really trying to get up in Sumail's face. Sumail will burn his last bit of regeneration. SC's still going to salve up himself, and he's going to just steal a haste rune. Not a lot he's going to be able to do with that. But it's more just keep on top of Sumail. Clockwork was starting his rotations as well. Kaka actually synergizes quite nicely with the OD. Imprisonment, just walk in, so then you get the cogs and the battery assault. Control up Sumail so we cannot escape.
But it's not great when the lane is shoved in so deeply onto EG's side of the map. One of the downsides of Astral, I would say. Not that there are many.
A lot of moving up on the top lane still, and that's something which be a little bit careful about when the Clockwork is the one who moves into the lane to leech a little experience. This is mainly because Tidehunter has backed off the lane just to farm up his own camps, to stack him up and farm them. So just more efficiency coming in from Newbee. Allow the Clockwork to get an earlier level 6, and EG, they want to try and punish this if it's possible. With a two-man smoke maneuver, they go for SC, and he's a long way forward. This should be the first blood. Now, Sumail is low on life. There is the defensive imprisonment available, and he's actually going to use it aggressively, keeping the Ember out. The Torrent will not connect, and support has arrived in the form of Raptors. Clever girl.
Wow, can't believe they missed that Torrent. And he also went for the level 1 and Tidebringer on Zai. He does go for this build fairly often, I would say, but one level of X almost certainly would have secured that kill. Makes him wonder whether or not he regrets that 1 point.
Yeah.
Gotta get that farm on, though.
This is also to like help out with the stacks. So like, how do you?
He's just relying on other people to set up for him, right? Like the Ember Spirit route and the Frostbite should be sufficient
Well,
enough.
he can potentially die. Bounty Rune gets stolen. Kaka starts with the Battery Assault. There's no support really coming to him, but that level 2 Battery Assault, it should be enough damage to kill off Zai, but the Torrent, it creates just enough space. Kaka, he has the movement speed. The Battery Assault will wear off. One little swing will not be enough. Dropping the Observer Ward behind the tower.
But now, Zai, what do you actually do here?
He's got no consumables.
Yeah.
He has to, okay, he has to take the consumable. He takes the salve from Arteezy.
Seems pretty necessary at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Sumail keeping up fairly well in terms of CS, actually
Mid
edging
lane.
out.
Imprisonment. No, they get the ball up instead. Sumail can't get back to the tower. So Clockwork, Searing Chains keeps him away.
Ooh, I think he was just out of range for Astral, too. Ideally, you'd Astral during the route so that you can close the distance after the route ends, but perfect timing on that. And waiting for that 5-minute shrine on the top so Ember can get straight back to lane. But it's a little bit worrisome for Newbee in the early game when KP hasn't been able to find that much farm. Darkseer has been free farming for quite some time. And Ember Spirit getting the best of the 3 lanes.
Maybe you're still fine there with KP. Like his CS is obviously inflated, just like as in between his net worth and his CS, the difference would be large because it's all from the neutral camps, and none of them being the Ancients. But you're still getting him close towards level 6. Crystal Maiden in that glimpse, it's a little bit too far away. Faith, he's trying to get in front of Crit to body block him up and allow Kaka to close that distance. Not to mention Mugi. Mugi would love to find himself a kill. Faith still continuing this run, and there's the wall. But Crit has now wasted time of 3 heroes. The Cogs will trap him in. If he actually gets denied up right now, this will be a disaster. But Mugi will take it, drawing first blood on the Crystal Maiden, giving that extra cash to the Ursa Warrior.
And normally you would say space creative, but for first blood, I think that's worth it for Newbee.
Rune of double damage.
It is. That extra money into him. And you can see the quick buy from Mugi. He's already preparing himself for the phase boots, plus the extra lifesteal top lane. KP's being dove right now by Arteezy. You do have the X mark spot, but you don't have the distance, and KP underneath that shrine. Gonna be out of fight. Kaka coming in from behind as well. If Arteezy wants to keep up with this, he does have 5 stacks currently on KP. The distance created. Quick bounty resolve, the battery assault. Arteezy, he wants more. That's 4 stacks over on the clockwork. Make it 5 back to the safety of the tower. Arteezy going in deep. He's got the creep wave with him. That's the protection available for KP. Now the stacks are gone. The Raptor is arriving. It's Disruptor. They've got more help. Crit and Zai, but Arteezy walled up at the moment. He can't make his way to Mexico as they'll frost him up. So at least Newbee will not continue the chase against EG.
1 mango, actually 2 mangoes consumed by Bristleback. Not that great for him. He's actually going for a Vanguard first. A little bit surprising considering the heroes that he's up against. Ursa hits so hard that the damage block is not that good. A lot of pure damage coming out from the OD, but great for farming.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Arteezy's going to come back up to the top lane, but KP's very happy with the situation. Okay, root and mid. Samael, well, okay, trade 1 for 1 as far as harassment for harassment.
It's bad that the OD feels pressured though in this lane. Sumail was able to take the last room.
Oh, speaking of pressure, quick jump forward with multiple spirits. Samael finds the kill on SC. Can Faith punish him, however? Keeping the chase going. He has glimpse available. The vision is up. Samael now being pulled back underneath the tower, but no! Sleight of fist dodging the glimpse back. He'll put the spirit down and start his TP home. They can see the spirit on the front line. He doesn't really want to come forward to that. Niji is asking for applause from the chat wheel.
The pinnacle of individual play as a mid laner has come out from Sumail in this tournament. Just small plays like that.
He's so good. Bottom lane, maybe a little bit of trouble for Universe. On the run now, Ravage commits. Actually just clips him on the edge.
Important kill for them too. Darkseer's their main team fighter, I would say, and without the mech being picked up by the Bristleback, I don't think he should have, but you need 1 mech carrier, I would say, on their team.
Yep. Glimpse, gonna pull back. Kunka did get the X marks the spot again, EG, and the taunt as well. You know Newbee can see that. They flared it up with the clockwork.
Yeah, seeing some influence from other teams' drafts. We see, Kunka picked up more commonly so versus the Disruptor, Bristleback, also rising to the forefront, and EG adopting some from other teams, but executing it with their own little flair.
Yep. But at the same time, Newbee, they still have an Ursa getting a lot of momentum. He can look towards Roshan. EG is the question mark as well. We had it previously when Newbee had this Ursa. Can they contest Roshan? Do they have the ability to take the fight against Newbee? Should also note, Ravage is down for 83 seconds because of that kill on the bottom lane.
But he has the best Roshan build too with the 0-3-4. You want max free swipes, you don't need Earthshock at all for this, and there is little chance for them to go inside. The positioning from Newbee, the fortification, is incredibly difficult for EG to penetrate.
The Dire Observer was seeing enough. X marks the spot. No one's going to get inside that pit. Zai just tried to go for the torrent.
This time though, they didn't waste that much time
More
trying
faith.
to go for the roast.
He's going to glimpse Arteezy down. The wall is up. Arteezy will be contained. And Moogie already starting up with a couple of stacks. No, the cogs pushing Arteezy away. It burns the mana, yes.
Radiant's bottom tower is under
But they
attack.
wanted to trap him in there with the Ursa Warrior. That was the intention, but not the result.
4 staff first will be the build for Darkseer. Very concerned about the clockwork in this game, and they don't have good 4 staff buyers in their team. I suppose Crystal Maiden, but she's going to be the poorest of the bunch. Forward thinking from EG as they look for a way to claim these team fights. Because Newbee, they're certainly going to play around the Ravage, going to play around the Aegis, and the best way for them to do that is to force objectives. And EG, you either need to split push or have stronger team fight of their own.
Run, Crit, run! Oh, X marks the spot, can play around on the bottom lane. That's just going to throw Kaka up. Crit does get back to the tier 2 tower. The vision, Moogie couldn't get there in time to give the vision to get the glimpse. But they understand with the Aegis Immortal, EG will not want to fight him. The Ravage is back up for KP. So trade-off is what they want. That bottom tower still up, is in well within deny range. Karka pushing back Universe. They're going to fight on top of the cogs, burning a lot of mana here. But if they kill off Karka, battery assault, Universe Science shot a point blank range hook shot. Well, he had it, may as well throw it. Glimpse. They find crit. That doesn't get him back in range of the wall. Might also reveal the fact the observe ward's up on top of the hill.
And Faith has had a lot of trouble connecting with these kinetic fields.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
And that's their main disable, I would say, in this early game. If Clockwork's not there to lock them in with cogs, they have very difficult to execute disables. Even Ravage is not going to be the easiest spell for them to hit.
Yep. Crit did work it out straight away. So the ward went down. He hasn't put down a fresh one of his own, and well, start your run. Ursa Warrior, crit triggers with the phase boots, and a perfect lens this time around. Crystal Maiden gets mopped up. The Torrent was going to create a little bit of space, but the kill was just so fast, there's no way for EG to really react to it.
They need to utilize the Bristle, though. The Bristle has been farming a lot, but Newbee are steamrolling towers right now. He is strong enough to the point where he can go in and fight, but if he TP's in, he just gets glimpsed back.
TP's are coming. Karka, well, he's got hookshot off cooldown in 2 seconds time and managed to isolate Zai. They trap him inside the storm. A quick fall stop. Hookshot out. Karka does manage to hold him. A quick glimpse. Nope, that's not going to work. Already imprisonment was used. The funny thing is the glimpse does still work with that. KP holding the Ravage. 4 heroes pretty close together. Crit gonna get gushed up. Arteezy comes in. Samael clipped by Universe. The only person not hit by that Ravage, but he just jumps in. There goes your Spirit Jump. But SC has to take that Ember Spirit out. They want to keep fighting. The Courier gets sniped off in the meantime. That was the Radiant one. Back to life from the Aegis Immortal. A quick TP out. Is there a stun? Is there anything? Yes, there is. That's a Frostbite. Available from Crit. Meanwhile, around the shrine, the ship flies in, and right now he's trying to solo the man, the conquer. He wants to crack the melon. The Darkseer wall will help out. EG underneath their own shrine will win, and Zai taunting on 1 HP under the corpses of Newbee and away from the Ancients, which are also threatening his life.
Boat OP. That damage reduction with the shrine, he was affordable at that point. And finally, they get a good mileage out of the Bristle back. Very smart move for Arteezy to TP onto the T2. If he had TP'd onto the T1, that would have been a disaster for them. They actually had the CM TP in. Arteezy TP back to the T2. He got glimpsed, but only back to the T2, and was able to connect in.
Karka, he's pinging out. He wants to go for Arteezy, at least if he can lock him in. Hook shot, there she goes. They're still too close towards the tower. And with an extra 4-star already up from Universe, they pushed Arteezy into safety. Defensive imprisonment will save the clockwork, Adverse initiation, and maybe, well, Arteezy's still in a little bit too far. Glimpse and Storm are available, but Newbee still don't want to fight this. They don't have the Aegis Immortal again.
They have to change plans now. They failed the first Aegis push. They weren't able to claim the T1 tower, and the Bristle is proving to be much more than they can handle. And I guess theoretically you could kite him with the cogs and the battery assault and the astral, but it's way too difficult for them to maneuver around. So right now, I think they need to take a step back, farm a little bit, play around the next Roshan where you can get EG to come to you instead of EG sitting right behind.
Cogs, the trap. She was on a mission of death. Crit just wanting to ward in a little bit deeper, but unable to do so. That was going to be their protection ward. So Arteezy, as he does this push on the bottom lane, doesn't feel as intimidated, but Karka looking to hit the goal onto Arteezy, and well, Arteezy walks straight into it. The wall is down. They can just start battery assaulting him up. You still have the Storm available, so a quick hook shot. The cogs keep pushing him away. Arteezy walks back into it. Karka will find the kill. Faith, maybe a little bit of overcommitment with the Storm.
I think it was important for them. He didn't walk back into it. He got 4-stepped out by the Darkseer, but the cog positioning from Kaka was perfect right there. That is the way you play around 4-steps. If you trap him inside, you just 4-step out. But if you trap him on the other side, if you 4-step him, he just gets knocked back by another cog, Sumail.
Quick jump out. That tower's within deny range now, so they might lose the money. Oh, Sumail glimpse down, but again, Sumail, you can't touch this.
X back just for extra safety. And Sumail still claiming that very high net worth position. He's been doing an excellent job of dying very few times. I think he had only 2 total deaths this game or last game, and this game hasn't died yet.
If he does die, like, you almost feel like even if EG get backed into a corner, you can still just BT out with with a very escapable Ember Spirit, and he can just get X marks back as well. You'd almost play this the way you'd almost play a Tinker, except you just don't have the rearm.
Yeah, I think they've been over-relying perhaps on the Disruptor as a hard disable when perhaps something, you know, Lion, Shadow, Shaman, these heroes have much more reliable jumps versus the Ember Spirit.
Because you got that instant burst damage before a reaction can come from EG.
And Hex is as good as any.
Kaka's on the hunt again. Quick Observer Ward down because he's right underneath the Dire Observer. So they understand what's going on. Zai starts his TP. And they both will escape.
Is under attack.
Not going too far. Zai only went back to the tier 2 tower on the top lane.
OD going back to farm. He has picked up an early and a Midas.
Yep.
So just need to sit back, play around the Roshans for a little bit and take it easy. No need for them to force team fights right now. Whereas EG, they just need to farm up as much as possible around the map and consider when the right time to strike around the Roshan pit is.
You can also see the desire of SC, right? Like it's like the Hurricane Pike gives him the distance to still keep attacking into Arteezy without having to take the damage of the Quill Sprays.
Exactly. I think the Hurricane Pike is going to be huge in being able to deal with the Bristleback.
Or Samael. They see Kaka. They would love to go on it. He moves around the corner, so Samael now reveals himself. The cogs are up. Torrent. Well, Kaka is just out of range of it until he walked back into the boat. He doesn't have enough damage, so he has to start the run. The hookshot bought space, and the wall from Faith is perfect. Samael caged like a lion. And KP wants to make something out. There's a quick stick charge. Universe. There's your force off going to work again, and another great torrent from Zai, catching both Kaka and Faith as they wanted to continue the pursuit, but were denied.
Kaka is surprisingly tanky for a Clockwork with very few survivability items. He has just a little bit of strength from his items right now, but is able to survive despite the Veil Burst from Ember. So Roshan gonna respawn very, very soon. Actually maximum respawn, but still soon nonetheless.
Yeah, just 2 minutes, 20 seconds until Roshan is up.
EG have no way to get vision inside the pit. A torrent, I suppose, but that's very little. Remnant does not get vision.
It's actually one of the very, like the first lineup almost in this grand final, which doesn't have good control over Roshan.
Well, the other game they had good vision of the pit, but they didn't actually have good fight in the pit. I think this time they could perhaps park the bristle there. Normally you're okay with tanking with a bristle, but versus an OD, you don't want to get hit at all.
Yeah, and that's what you see him building in. Like he's got the Solar Crest available. He's got a Talisman of Evasion in his quick buy.
Yeah, evasion and like Ghost Scepter, generally the two defensive items as cores versus an OD. But Ghost Scepter not particularly good on Bristle.
We mentioned with KP before where he likes to go for these like these lifestyle items, something that's going to keep him alive, the mech, the pipe. He's managed to finish up the hood, but he also purchased the earlier Blink Dagger. So he's got that jump and initiation to work with. Faith. Wait, does he actually kill off straight here? They go one-on-one, the wall is up, the storm is committed, actually triggering onto the Bristleback. It's right on top of the ramp. So Arteezy can't get aggressive into it, but with Storm down, maybe they feel they can fight. Samael is there, but there's your also 4-star from Newbee. There's SC who finished up his, pushing Disruptor away to safety.
Could have been dangerous for both sides.
Waiting for Newbee to group up for their own smoke. Currently they are carrying one on the Disruptor. And we're tight under Ravage available. The Blink Dagger is on the Ursa.
This Yule's pickup by Kaka could potentially be pretty big too. They don't have a good way to catch out the Ember, but with the Yules into a Cogs pushback, that might be enough for them to chain disable him after that.
Here we go again. It's the smoke from EG. They want the fight before Roshan's done. In fact, they're looking directly towards Roshan, thinking that Newbee should be in it. And it's understandable. You assume that this fight is on in Roshan because it's almost max spawn time. Instead, they find a better target. It's SC. The torrent won't be unchained properly. A quick glimpse, pulling Samael away, and a defensive imprisonment down from the OD, giving Samael the desire to go underneath the tower and goes one-on-one with SC. The searing chains will burn him out. And SC feeling very defensive and Samael able to capitalize. And really heavily, 40 seconds with no buyback. EG could look to Roshan. Newbee could do the same with a rocket, however.
They had their ultimates, however. They didn't have static zone for that fight, but now it has cooled down from the failed attempt earlier. Bristleback, I don't think he has enough damage to solo it on his own. He is constantly casting solar on it, but it is a slow and steady kill.
And as long as like the mid lane, they smoked up. So EG uncertain of the positioning now of Newbee, and this is going to be enough to get Arteezy to leave Roshan.
And with the earn up, he is very scary.
But OD's alive.
Is under attack.
It's still scary for an OD because he can't attack at will. He has to worry about the Ember jumping him.
Arteezy, they're trying to glimpse him away from the Observe Wall. The perfect searing chains, catching Faith. They're going to amplify them up with the Veil of Discord as well. But with the cogs, there's just no way for EG to get properly up the ramp. Not safely and not with mana.
The Bristleback is now rivaling the Tidehunter.
Do they want this?
In the front line. No, they don't.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
He is not the target you go on.
Do we not learn that lesson before with Eternal Envies?
Well, the counter to that is just positioning yourself in the way that they have to go on you.
Dire's bottom tower
Into
is
the
under
pit we go. Clockwork Rocket again, providing that vision for Newbee. Karka knows with a good hook shot he can split this fight.
He does get pretty vision of the other cores moving to the north side, so he can suspect that they're potentially to the north side of the pit as opposed to the right side where the shrine is.
That Rocket still again. Negative 9 armor on Roshan. He's down to 2.4k. Arteezy doesn't want to finish this. He needs to regen up for just a little bit. 13 one charges are available, so Arteezy has a lot more to fight with. As they go back in, Newbee still waiting for the perfect opportunity, the tense situation around the pit. They want to go. The Ravage is ready, but EG's positioning, everything's on the back lines. Critless, the ulti go. It's more cover and KP. It's a 5-man Ravage. Roshan taken by the Radiant. Ursa picked up the Agency Mortal. 3-man back wall, however. Maybe they can start turning this one around, EG. They've already brought down the OD and Arteezy. He wants to fight. He's low with the one shot that's giving that extra boost. The Agency Mortal triggered on the Ursa. Can they mop up the extra pieces? No, they can't. That disrupt the wall, lock them there. But then again, who are you really locked in with? Mugi trying to man fight this up, but he just can't do it. Even X marks the spot, drags him away from his meat.
Such a perfect Ravage coming out from KP, but no follow-up. They weren't clumped up enough for a good static storm, and there was just no burst, no Sanity's Eclipse even cast by the OD. He didn't have any into steal at the start. Why even cast it? At least Ursa picked up the cheese. But small spoils from a fight that Newbee desperately wanted to take.
Yep. And it was the perfect initiation. We talked about KP with his Bat Rider in the last game, getting those early initiations off perfectly. He hit 5 heroes. Obviously, the Crystal Maiden was the easier one because you're standing still, but they had the opportunity. And then you could look to Universe. That walk into the back wall caused real chaos for Newbee.
Yep, no BKBs up yet for them. So still very, very vulnerable to being ping-ponging around at the fight. They will go for BKB next on the OD, not focusing on the Hurricane Pike, realizing that he needs to deal with all of these spells in the fight as opposed to being able to deal with the Bristleback. Earlier.
Ursa's gonna have more problems. Arteezy's going for him. He's got a fresh howl, but Arteezy knows he's basically immortal at the moment.
Yeah, there's just no way they're going to build MKB this early to deal with him. So right now, when you go full defense on Bristle like this, you just have to kite him. But kiting is just not so simple.
Not when Arteezy's just running directly at you.
Yeah, 43% evasion, and then the Bristleback too. It's just, you also have no way for him to face you. You have no Silver Edge, no True Strike, just no way to deal with him.
That's why it almost looks like they're trying to kite him with that Diffusal Blade build from the Ursa, burn off a little bit of the mana and just keep slowing him down. Either that or they change the target. Maybe we have to start thinking about Sumail. Do they try and jump in, remove that Flame Guard, keep the lockdown and just murder him quickly so then you can focus on the Bristleback?
You do, but Sumail knows that he is the one that cannot get caught out. Similar to last game, you never saw him as a lasso target because he just simply did not make himself available. Just play around the Bristleback, let him get the vision. If you are unsure, just position yourself around the pit. And I really like how EG positioned themselves there. Normally, you'll see them all to the south of the shrine just clumped up for a good Ravage. You think the high ground is good, but it's the small choke that actually is your downfall in that fight. So they spread out, sacrificing the high ground for better spread so they don't all get ravaged.
Oh, Arteezy's going to take this tier 2 town without any kind of contest and without any kind of trade. Newbee is still trying to regain control of their mid as well as top lane. And Arteezy hitting at 225.
is under attack.
Not too bad for a level 15 Bristleback who's gone for primarily surviving items, and they can keep going. As we said, Arteezy feels immortal. 11-1 charges up his sleeve as well. He's got Universe to lend the pipe. Potential ship save, but they're gonna leave. They already managed to force Newbee to return home.
At least they finally got that prize T1 in the mid lane. Will make Roshan contest a little bit easier. They're not interested in fighting right now. Yeah, they have Ravage, but as has been proven in the prior fights, Bristleback is way stronger than High Hunter for the team fight, based on the damage output and the team damage output and his tankiness.
Well, in a way, I think Newbee has just read this maneuver from EG correctly. They know EG are going to push for the last real remaining out of towers, especially that last tier 1 tower up on the top lane. But they don't have everyone. KP is still sitting in the mid. They're going to try and initiate in. Hook shot up. The Yule Scepter. Make sure when he comes down, it's inside the storm, and Sumail will fall. 55 seconds on the sideline. Now Arteezy wants to make his play. Crit letting it go. They're locked inside their own cogs. The ship, Torrent and Wall. Nowhere to run. Newbee being crippled on the top lane. 2 heroes down. Well worth the trade when Sumail does die, and they might have another one. Defensive imprisonment from SC, having to be used to save his disruptor. But what does Faith really have left to give apart from his life? That is actually it, and they may lose more. SC burning that BKB of his. But with Newbee having only the Tide and the OD remaining, they cannot contest EG on this top lane.
Yeah, they read that movement well, but not well enough. EG were all sitting behind Sumail. If they just got the clean Sumail kill, sure, that would have been great for Newbee. But EG, as you mentioned, all grouped up, ready to push that T1 tower. And perhaps they just give the Aegis next time to Sumail, as if Arteezy's ever going to die.
Right now, he's fine.
Radiant's top tower.
He's got a lot of money up his sleeve as well, so that next, if he wants to go tanky item, if he wants to increase that armor of his, he's able to do so. You'll set it from Kaka, pulling up Arteezy, lock him inside the cogs. You do have that Conquer Boat available, but on the back lines is where Mugi is initiating Ember Spirit, the jump down, the Ravage from KP. Space be created, the ship has actually slowed down a lot of the damage, allowing Arteezy to find up against SC. He throws the ulti out, trying to kill off Universe, who just basically runs the circle. The storm is down, Arteezy locked down, finally SC will fall, the Torrent control him. KP once more, Arteezy, the tank, the man who survived for so long will finally die.
Wow, that was an amazing play by that Ursa coming in from the right side. And
Crit, Solar!
Sumail didn't have a remnant down beforehand. As soon as he got defusal, he tried to drop a remnant, but he hardly moved and wasn't able to distance himself away from the Ursa. And that was the start of the bad fight for EG. And as you mentioned, the target selection priority is incredibly important for Newbee. Try and ignore the Bristle as best you can. He did get Astral and Cogged, and they were able to take out the backline of EG before Bristleback was able to do his thing.
To be honest, I thought EG support was going to kick in a lot harder. Like, I was waiting for that ship to be right on top the second Arteezy was cogged up, but
they had already lost Sumail at the start of the fight.
It was just chaos. But that's the issue, right? You fight between the tier 2 tower as well as the shrine. No matter how confident you feel, it's a lot easier for Newbee to pin through in that position.
EG were expecting it to be a much smoother fight with the BKB already.
Here's the Yule Scepter again. Karka trying to create space and catch out Crit. At least reveals the fact the water's there. Has his own hook shot. Glimpse pulling him back. And Mugi, he wants the kill. And he will have the Crystal Maiden.
Gaga's just throwing himself out there. They don't have good burst actually on EG unless they commit a lot of remnants.
He's still looking to fight. I suppose the Crystal Maiden is the one down, but the hook shot's up for Karka. Throws the rocket out, doesn't get the vision of the TPing out Ember, but they do see his spirit. So if they want to camp it, they could wait for him to return. And looks like Sumail has no desire to do that at the moment.
Too risky. Radiant Observer Ward did see Bristleback pick up the Arcane Rune. That is not a fight you want to take. It's easy to ignore him if he doesn't have these. It's just not spamming wills, but with Arcane Rune, it's too much damage to ignore.
The second 4-staff's now been done. So with Yule Scepter and Glimmer Cape to already interrupt the targets that EG are looking to focus on. Then you got the double 4-staffs, the double blinks. A lot of maneuverability available here for Newbee. That kiting we're talking about against the Bristleback is becoming more and more possible. Even though EG also have a lot to work with. But right now, Bristleback is the frontline tank. His intimidation of damage is something that only comes over time as the stacks build up. And Sumail is moving himself into also a defensive item. So is this when EG had to slow up the pace of the game? Is this when Newbee actually bring the damage, bring the superior team fight?
Once they get the BKB on Ursa, they can. He is very, very close to the BKB. Otherwise, you're worried about him just being kited. And they're looking for that sweet spot before Mugi is ready. And
Well, they're coming. Smoke.
He does have cheese, though.
They have the vision. It's the Observer Ward just up the hill. So Ursa gets hit, gets his Enrage off. So he will be able to survive that little bit longer. Tidehunter in the neighborhood. Does he trigger the cheese? No, he doesn't. Ursa, without buyback, actually accepts his fate.
And luckily for Newbee, Roshan's not going to respawn for another minute. Sad times for Bristleback.
That's a lot of time. That's always in the later portion of the spawn time.
Radiant's middle tower.
Kurt's going to be
is
sad
under
about that
attack.
one.
TZ going to assault the mid tower, KP. With a gush, he drags the creep wave off the tower. And more onto Arteezy.
They don't want to commit to this too hard. Arteezy could easily be on the other side of the tower with his back facing towards the Radiant base, but realizing that Ursa could potentially buy back and set up for a good fight, he will play it a little bit safer.
Radiant structures
Yes, the Clockwork Rocket was able to scout out the movement from the other EG players. So
Radiant's
Kaka
middle
understands what's going on.
Radiant's middle tower.
32-25 gets pinged. You still have another 27 seconds until Roshan.
Both teams are ready.
Kaka. Okay. Put down a sentry ward of his own. I think he's trying to find that aggressive vision that EG have. He'll have to look up on top of the hill if he wants to find it.
At least it's not in the normal spot, though. The normal spot gives him way too much vision for Newbee to be comfortable with. And without that, they can perhaps blink across into the pit if they don't have vision on the high ground and stick with Ursa. And that always has to be a lurking thought in EG's mind. It's Ursa and Roche, but he's actually just still farming up his BKB. He did buy 2 pieces before he died, so he's still pretty close to it.
Yeah, just needs the recipe. He's hit 1100, so just under 300 gold away from having it. And EG, it takes so long for them to still kill off Roshan. So this is their other problem, that Ursa can probably complete his BKB in time, or does he? The TPs are coming in. You got a fresh Hurricane Pike over on SC.
And that's a negative on the BKB. He's going to have to fight this one without it.
He's trying to farm. This is just harassment. SC will Hurricane Pike himself up to safety. Is all delaying. Mugi is so close. He needs 100 gold. KP getting caught out. The torrent won't connect. Bates in the neighborhood underneath the sentry ward. That's why Arteezy is able to hit him. KP pushed away to safety by his own force staff. And EG want to fight. And Ursa, there it is. He now has the BKB. Courier will bring it out. And he moves over quickly towards Roshan.
This Clockwork Rocket Flare, very annoying for EG to deal with, but they will have to fight with full vision.
Here they come. SC has the vision inside, tries to hit Arteezy. Torrent's going to miss.
That range on Albert, though.
Roshan's so low. They know they have to end this. EG needs to take this fight. Sumail has to get Syrian chains off. Clockwork hookshotted himself in, still has the cogs. Doesn't want to throw it down because he'll block his own team out if he's not careful. That's why SC goes to defensive imprisonment. Roshan still insanely low. Another rocket gets the vision, but as the BKB Ursa looking for his target. Can't find a hero, so he's moving in. He's trying to steal Roshan from Arteezy. Will he have enough? Hitting Arteezy as well as Roshan. The torrent will come in. KP triggers the Ravage, and Roshan, the Aegis Immortal, is snatched out by the Ursa Warrior. SC holding on to the Eclipse. He wants the big target. Arteezy almost gone. They continue to steal the intelligence from him. Arteezy will fall. 70 seconds on the sideline. No one else for EG to kill, for Newbee to kill. So EG will retreat.
He had to expect to get ravaged there. Maybe, I think Sumail was trying to identify where the Tidehunter was. At least stop his Blink Dagger with a Sleight of Fist. Ideally hit him with a chain so you can stop it with for a blink for a little bit longer. But KP sat outside patiently, waited until it was very low. I think the Ravage did set off a Quills so that Bristleback did get the last hit, but still Aegis onto the Ursa, and then the cheese went the way of Tidehunter, who has passed it along to his teammate SCCC.
They give the extra life in for SEC during the next engagement. So you have both Aegis and cheese on the Ursa. Again, they're starting to rack him and stack him here, Newbee.
Zai was really close to predicting the Blink Ravage though with the Torrent. Had that happened, oh my god, would that have been a big fight for EG. And he was extremely close, maybe just half a second off from that. They tried to set it up, but that's slightly wishful thinking, although certainly worth going for that play.
That Observer Ward will finally be brought down. It's in the last minute of its life. And then the new one planted just out of range of the Radiant Sentry that was down. So Crick continues the vision advantage. A Blink Dagger will now arrive in for SC.
He needs to be able to get some Arcane Orbs off in the fight. He is constantly getting disarmed or he's missing, and there's not any one single item that's going to help him do that. If he BKBs, he still has to deal with the 43% evasion, and if he gets Lincolns to prevent the Halberd, he still needs to deal with the evasion.
Is it worth just going in for a Monkey King bar? And
It's just not great on OT though.
I don't disagree, but if you're not hitting, you're not hitting. And he's going for the Shiva's Guard in his quick buy. The Monkey King bar is being purchased, but it's not by the OD, it's done by the Ursa.
For the Ursa, it's fine. For the OD, it's just you want more int because you want to be able to kill everyone else. Like maybe you can just ideally ignore the Bristleback and go for everyone else. But right now, I think Bristle needs BKB so he can fight without getting destroyed. And kited is the only anti-kiting item that I think he can go right now.
Well, he did switch it. It's in the quick buy after picking up the plate mail. So at least his armor is half decent.
It is. He has to be able to get in the fight. Normally you just walk into the fight as Bristle, but when you get piked, you're not in a good spot. And then after you get piked, if you keep running forward, you're still going to take a lot of Arcane Orbs from the front, and you have to back off even further potentially to prevent all those Arcane Orbs from hitting. So it's not easy for Bristle.
Well, there it is. The BKB is done just under the 38-minute mark.
And I think they'll probably actually scatter it out with that rocket. So now they can devise their game plan accordingly. I don't actually know if they scattered out. They could have if they clicked exactly.
They're smoking without the Ursa Warrior. He's still pushing on the bottom lane. So they want to fight without the damage that comes from the Ursa. Quick Observer Ward down. Doesn't see Samael TPing away.
Who could they kill? They could kill Ember with a Ravage.
Bristle is the only target they currently have available, and Kunkka is not too far away. Zai is running the defense. There's Yul set her up and towards the air, put him down. Where is that Storm? It's not controlling up Arteezy. The BKB, they can't even bait it down. Arteezy knows he doesn't need to use it. The X marks the spot, looking to bring back Kunkka into the ship, but the defensive imprisonment cancels the fun. KP ready with the Blink Ravage, but no Arteezy hitting with the Cool Spray. He couldn't get close enough to the fight. Split up, you'll lose the Disruptor. Universe, however, so much damage from NC, but stopped. Crit was able to hit him with a Frostbite. Now it's Kaka trapped inside of his own cogs, looking to run away, but Samael right over him, ready to burn him down. Now you Ravage from KP, create a little bit of space. Samael does finally pick off the clockwork, but SC looking to hold him just a little bit longer. Keep the Bristleback out of this fight. And now they're chasing. The Searing Chains is on the Ursa. He's got cheese plus Aegis. He'll burn the cheese to start with. Looking to fight up against Arteezy. BKB still on cooldown for a while. As Moogie will retreat.
I'm surprised he burned the cheese there when he did have the Aegis in tow. But he's a little bit confined for items. Doesn't really want to hold both.
Well, the Aegis, the Immortal, actually times out in 10, 20 seconds.
His teammates were coming in from the north side, so he thought they could get a kill, but the surge right after the Diffusal Blade quelled any attempts at that.
He's actually burned so many Diffusal Blade charges too. He's already on the second wave of Diffusal. That's going to be an item he just can never get back.
Yeah, that's when you have to rely on the clockwork to be able to trap heroes in or disrupt it with the glimpses. But it's been very tough for them to isolate targets and keep them in attack range.
Man, KP's got so much money. He just finished a Refresher Orb on this Tide Hunter.
I have no idea how he farmed that. And I don't actually think he'll have mana issues. Normally you do, and normally you'll see Mango's picked up, but he has Essence Aura, so you don't have to cast them back to back if you're Tide Hunter. Just maybe wait for a proc or two and you're good.
Wonderful thing, if you're a newbie, the team fight just becomes even better for you.
I think this is going to come as a big surprise to EG, this double Ravage.
It's very problematic as well. You trigger your first BKB and, well, none of these heroes from EG are Refresher buyers. So they will probably you know, it's almost a guaranteed second Ravage unless you can kill the Tidehunter beforehand, and you're not willing to commit to kill the Tidehunter.
Certainly not. And I think the double Ravage is going to be imperative if they want to kill the Ember Spirit. Like twice the stun duration on him for a hero like Ursa who needs those precious few tenths of seconds to burst down heroes. This Lincoln Sphere isn't going to save Ember Spirit at all.
Now it's up to EG how they want to try and take this fight. Again, we could be just playing around Roshan. He seems to be the most popular person during this grand final. Second only to the free gold that is Crystal Maiden.
Party in the pit.
Newbee still feel like the masters of that just because of their vision play. They're always counter-initiating into EG in the pit.
But now they have BKB up on Bristle, so if they wait too long, he just BKBs, takes the Aegis, potentially the Cheese too, and Newbee are out of luck. And they need to prevent that from happening, so now they have to reevaluate how they approach the pit.
Well, that's when you probably look towards Kaka, right? You look towards the hookshot, that interruption, and then allow him just to force into the pit. Your other option is get a lot of money onto a Disruptor and finish an Aghanim Scepter. Then that BKB, it won't matter if you get the initiation off.
Faith has constantly been poor in this series, though. Hasn't been able to buy a Midas at all. Not
It's
living the life of luxury.
It's the optimism. He's got Aghanim Scepter in his quick buy when he's got 3.8k net worth.
Poor guy. That's less than 100.
It's like, I'm gonna buy an item which is more valuable than anything I currently own. Glimpse, Arteezy, there's your hook shot forward. Do they commit the storm this time around? No. The 4-staff gets Arteezy out of the wall. Trying to force a reaction, maybe trying to force again a BKB charge. Arteezy's being very cool, calm, and collective about it, holding onto his 9-second charge.
He has such a big window to pop his BKB, though. They can't prevent him from casting it. Maybe if he gets like a lucky string of bashes, but that is hardly something that you can rely on, especially with this massive amount of evasion. So yeah, he could pop at like 20%, maybe even less, and still feel good about it. I guess maybe the only threat is Astral Imprisonment, or sorry, Astral Sandy's Eclipse.
EG are coming. 5-man smoke. The Iron Shells are going to push out to mid. KP's the man. A quick 4-star. The Torrent will not be connected because of this. They're X-marking as well as pulling him back into the range of the ship. SC defensive imprisonment actually helped him dodge the attack from the ship, and they push further away. A blink away from KP. Newbee disengage from EG's aggression.
And now they can reinitiate with the Blink Ravage if they so desire. The only thing Titan could use that fight was just pipe.
Look at EG's going to check Roshan, but again, it's like this game wants us to keep going longer and longer. Roshan is almost the max spawn time.
Shrine
Another minute
is
and a
up.
half until he's going to come into play.
They're going to do the long wraparound to the north side, and it's actually the even longer of a wraparound. They're not immediately skirting to the east. They're going to the northeast and potentially cutting south, but nope, they've caught Sumail, or what they think.
Well, SC's going to push the lane. You have to go for a blind hook to hit that one.
I'm surprised he rocketed to the north side over there. I think he was trying to catch on the Ember Spirit. If they caught him with Rocket Flare, that could have been a hook shot into a big play.
Especially when Ember is still shy of buyback. Only like 200 gold or so. But shy nonetheless. So, keep your countdown eyes. 52 seconds until Roshan is up. As Newbee try and push this mid lane back out again. They've got the momentum, they get a little bit more insight to where EG is, and Sumail attacking the bottom tower. If you can reach it, that tier 3 towers are taking a little bit of chip damage from the push that EG did previously.
Yeah, just a tiny bit. But EG, they had illusions to scout inside the pit, now they have nothing. And it's like, it's been 10 minutes since the last Roshan death. And as you mentioned, popular man, he's gonna get some more loving over here.
Yep. Sumail's committed into this fight. Finished the entire Octarine, so no buyback available for him. It's only the Darkseer, the Ursa, and the OD who currently have buybacks on the field. With Roshan up in, well, now, scattered out. Ember Spirit very quickly away. But Newbee are aware that Roshan is up. So it's up to Moogie if he wants to go in.
This is a very swift gank by EG. They remnant back and immediately smoke Kaka.
They're looking for the clockwork. They're looking for the man who actually keeps providing the vision. Hook shot in, tries to create space, but the Torrent, the Frostbite holds him there. The Colds will push him back. So Clockwork is down. He does not have buyback available. So EG, is this your time when you can take Roshan or not? You're still up against Double Ravage. You're still up against the Ursa Warrior.
They don't know that Clockwork doesn't have buyback, but they probably don't think that he's that big of a deal in the fight for them, especially now that BKB is up on the bristleback. Not a huge deal, and RTZ will start.
They smoked. They smoked around the back, out of range. Are they going to loop all the way around? Yeah, you can see the line being drawn. And EG, are they reading this? Zai's in a great position to pop the smoke. The issue is they don't really see him, so the blink down, Universal force up himself up the hillside. Dagger Ravage, number one will trigger. Zai caught inside the storm, he can't get the boat off in time. He wants to live, but it won't work. Samel needs more help. Ravage number two is ready to go. KP holding until RTZ's BKB is going to wear off while Mugi mopping up the back lines. In comes KP again, holding the Ravage. He's almost down. Now he lets it go. Catching Samel with the OD ulti. Samel, he can spirit himself away a little bit further to safety. Clockwork will come back to life again. Crystal Maiden will have to buy her way into this world as Arteezy enters the pit. The Clockwork Rockets revealing what's going on. Mugi ready to fight if EG will oblige. But for now, they keep the goose stacks up. Arteezy wants to keep this fight going. They know there's no Ravage. Both were committed. Eclipse is down. But the Ursa Warrior is still a formidable force. And you see that open slot he's keeping. He wants the Aegis of the Immortal. He wants to take the cheese if possible. Even keeping both the Vlads and the Demon Edge in his backpack. So we can just jump in and claim Roshan.
They need to wait for the BKB up on RTZ though, or else there's too high of a risk that he gets stun locked.
9 seconds off road. BKB still not there. KP trying to get some distance. And now, well, there's your X-Mark spot, but hook shot in. They're pushing doubly Zai away with a force arms, but they're in the back lines fight. The storm might be down, but Arteezy walks through it under the cover of that BKB. SC starting to steal a little bit of intelligence against Samel. Sleight of fist, the boat is coming, it's a little bit too far away, but the back into a torrent is connected. OD will fall. Buybacks available. Something to try, and OD will end up committing his KP. Force arm him away as well. The Frost is actually keeping Mugi in position, but won't be enough. Not when he can trigger off the cheese and stand his ground and fight. SC still so damn big, looking to fight hard, but Arteezy, how is he still alive, doing so much damage? Keeping 3.2k life, that's one way to do it. SC's in the neighborhood. Wants to hit him if he can. Blink tag is available, not to mention that Hurricane Plank with the help of Mugi. They go after Arteezy. SC is a double kill. Universe on the run too. SC, do you want to go for that one with a blink forward, the double hit? It's a triple kill for the OD, but Arteezy buys back in. They want this Roshan. They want to fight it. The triple spirit, but no! It gets dodged out by the imprisonment. You want to keep fighting with the force up to the high ground. They still have the advantage. 72 stolen intelligence currently in the hands of SC. EG, the longer they fight, the dumber they get. They want KP. 15 seconds until he's got Ravage. Arteezy's BKB is back off cooldown. They look for SC. His BKB is currently protecting him. Keep running. Back to the tier 2 towers. KP needs 5 more seconds for Ravage to be available. Back to the tier 2. 1 second. Does he trigger it? No, he doesn't. They try and glimpse back out to safety, but it won't be enough. 2 big cores dead for Newbee for a very long time. EG want to pressure the issue. They go to the tier 3 tower in the bottom lane. EG will enter the base. They are 1 game victory away from taking the grand final, and they want the advantage. While they know the 2 Newbee heroes cannot come back to life again. Wow, are you actually going for this? Arteezy's looking at the tier 4 towers. The storm is down. He doesn't have his BKB up and running, so they can silence him as well as Ember Spirit. Caught in the edge of it, but now the storm is lost. They find the Clockwork. Yule Scepter will protect him for the moment, but Arteezy beating the tier 4 towers. Disruptor locked in position and brought down. EG, they have the numbers. They have the manpower. They have the strength. The question is, can they finish the job? Ursa wants to fight. Parker looking to come in. The battery assault. He can't reach him. The Cogs have their distance. Ursa jumping in the back lines, trying to kill off the one person he thinks he can do. The supports looking for the Kung from the Crystal Maid, but his BKB is worn off. Triple holding there with a frostbite, and now they just let it go. All over Newbee. This could be it. There's no one left. They're all dead. It's done. It's done. EG are your champions, taking the series 3-1 against Newbee.
An incredible display of teamwork, force staff usage, just hiding all around. They rendered this Ursa useless, playing excellently around the
intense series. It wasn't action-packed all the way through, but you knew it. It was the breath waiting for the storm to connect, and EG really showing so much patience. Same with Newbee, both deserving to be here in the grand final. A terrific performance from both, but there's going to be one victor, and it will be Evil Geniuses taking it 3 games to 1.
And an incredible path.
All right, round of applause to EG. We're gonna have a medal ceremony, of course, awarding each member before they raise the Manila Masters trophy. Really quick, Samel, what do you have to say to Manila? What do you have to say to Manila?
Thank you for supporting us, and you're one of the best fans we have ever seen, I think.
Any message for Manila before we close this night? Anything you want to say to Manila from each of course, EG?
Thanks for a great weekend. Thanks for the support. We love you guys. Putang ina mo?
Okay. Make some noise for Zai. RTZ?
I just want to thank everybody who stayed up all the way, all night. Thank you, Manila.
Thank you, Manila, from EG, giving us memes till the end. All right, so we're gonna call now, of course, the founder of Mineski for the medal ceremony. They're gonna give it, of course, to EG. Here we go, lots of love. One more time, lots of love for EG, come on. And let's give a round of applause to Newbee for an amazing performance as well. Thank you, Newbee. All right, we will of course have the medals to come shortly after, but for now, why don't you guys raise the Manila Masters Trophy, your champions, ladies and gentlemen. Please give a round of applause to the Manila